How many times has something happened to you that you went somewhere, you were online, you read something, something you read gave you the creepy creepies, um, you went by something that just didn't feel right, or possibly you're watching something on TV or that wasn't this energy that you were hoping, and it was really hard to drop. I have another one about to ask you. How about have you ever gotten so angry in your life? And this might have been years and years ago, or this might have been 5 minutes ago, where you were angry with, let's just say, your mother, Aunt Sally, a friend, a neighbor, and you said, "Oh, I just wish they would just be quiet and go away." Or when you were a child, did you ever say, "I want to die," or "I wish somebody would die"? Or you ever said, "I hate someone. I don't like you." Hi, I'm Judy. Thank you for being with me. I am with Real Healing Methods Spiritual Academy. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of shields and soul lineage clearing. As I began talking about some of the things that can feel like a curse in our life, "I hate you. I wish you would die." And I'm going to tell you, I heard that from an adult recently who was talking about not that could not stand a person and wish that they could be cursed or die. Now think about that. Think about what I just said. And if we ever made a comment towards another person that's not of love, we're hurting ourselves primarily also, but you're also hurting the other person. Remember, your heart is the heart of God. Your soul is your heart, your etheric heart, and that is the heart of God. Wow. We are powerful. We're so powerful beyond our imagination. We've been told most of our life that we are not strong and powerful and we can do these things, and our privilege, our responsibility from authoritarian personalities have been taken from us. This is a lineage, a soul lineage problem. This goes back to the first humans, you guys. This goes back to an energy of control. And if you studied history, you already know what I'm talking about. Let's just get back to talking about now. So, when you say words that are hurting another person, whether you think you hate them or not, or you were a child and said that, or someone said that about you, a friend could have said that when you were 5 years old. They could have been so mad at you and wanted to say something like that. Or you remember something being said from a family member, from a lineage, from your mother telling you about Aunt Sally, or from your mother, father talking about their parent not meeting their needs and they were XYZ. Right? So this is how it happens. And because we're so powerful, that's the part you want to remember, that our thoughts, our words, and our actions are creating our reality. Now, let's go back to the most important thing I wanted to talk about today, which, you got most of it, but it is the importance of the shields and the importance of the soul lineage clearings. And everything now will make a lot more sense. And I am going to pull up, it's on my website at shieldsforlife.com. Shieldsforlife.com. And you can go on there and just read, take your time and read all about the groups of shields, and you can read about the soul processes. The another really valuable bit of information is we not all of what we believe is us. Who is it? Who is it? It is, seriously, it is the collective consciousness of everyone, and it is our ancestors. That's what I've been talking about. Specifically, those are the two areas we're going to talk. I personally have been attacked as a light worker, a spiritual teacher of near 30 years, 20, 27, 28 years. So I want to share that experience with you to see if you can relate to it. And if you're new listening to what I have to say and you're curious, continue, please, because this might be something that you encounter. I began talking about reading something, watching something, hearing something that was scary or that was off, that maybe after you were around the energy, your mind was kind of clouded, the energy, like you weren't thinking as straight. Okay. Those are some of the signs and symptoms of where I'm going with all of this. Stay tuned. If you want to jump to it right now, go to shieldsforlife.com and you will get everything. If you want to get some more information, I will also give that to you now. As a light worker early on, and I'm talking as early as 1998, I went through some extensive training on energy medicine. And there happened to be some of the energy was not pure. And I didn't know it. I was new on my path. I had no idea. So some of the energy hooked on me. And how you know, I mean, we can talk, that's a whole other show of giving you symptoms, but I'll share a little bit now. And it took me probably 10 years before I realized that one incident, I was hooked. Like this energy had hooked on my heart and was blocking me. And the symptom was that I couldn't get emotional about something in my life that was so dear and important to me. Like something was blocking it. I couldn't move ahead in my life. That's been another symptom, that when something would hook on me that wasn't my energy, I couldn't, I was frozen in fear. I couldn't move. And then I was so frozen in fear of, my God, what just happened, that I couldn't then also move forward. So I have a long history of 27 years of these things happening to me on and off. And so what happens, you begin to believe they're true. And I've been trained by a Hawaiian kahuna who says, well, words are everything, and you don't need to protect yourself because then you're giving yourself a need to be protected. Well, I have some news for you. That is not true. When we're opened and we're being honest and we have our own childhood baggage, we all do, right? Or we're not feeling safe in the world. These things happen. SHT happens. Okay. It just happens. And yes, there was a time a year ago I would have just said it, but I'm trying to be more mindful of my words. But I thought you would understand what I'm saying. And so I spent my career, my life on my spiritual path, having all these things that happened to me. Now, fast forwarded even to the last 6 years, knowing these things, especially during the COVID arena, that I would be online and I would listen to someone and I thought, oh my God, they're the answer. And then I started trusting the information. And then I was listening to their meditations that were custom for me, and something didn't feel right. And by this time, I mean, I get a lot of spiritual messages and I'm guided a lot. So whether I listen or not, I'm human, right? It could be another story. But the point is, it shook me up. Or during that arena, somebody who wrote a book about angels who um, does healing, I decided to do a session with them. And there again, I read the book, but there was parts of it that I couldn't understand for someone who was so connected to angels, why they were talking about things that were very painful that could affect other people in a really negative way. And I just didn't understand that was one of my signs. And I still, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, still was not fully trusting my intuition. And I get a lot of messages. I can't stress that a lot. And there are times in my meditations, I mean, the messages are astounding. And, and I can be a medium and I can tell people all kinds of things. But sometimes when you're working on yourself, it doesn't, we get clouded. Okay, so when the angel thing happened, this woman, I am getting, and she's doing this session, and as soon as I got done, I am meditating at the end, and I'm seeing what she just did was not with love, it was a hook. So I've been implanted with energy that's not mine, that started during the time of my first energy medicine training of 27 years ago. And I was vulnerable. I thought I was protected, right? I said I was protected, but I can't tell you how many times I thought I was protected and I was still getting stuff. So, what it was telling me that I probably had some holes or leaks in my energy field that hadn't been cleared. Okay, so now I'll go one area, then we're going to fast forward. So this is why I gave you the history of it. I wanted you to know that I personally lived this. If you're new to what I'm talking about, then go to your life stories of when you felt like a victim, or you were bullied, or something happened to you, or you were laughed at. You will understand those feelings of being not feeling enough and feeling powerless. That energy is in our beliefs, it's in our patterns, it's in our imprints. An imprint is much like a tattoo, right? And that we're covered in these imprints of visuals, of hearing, of seeing that triggers something in us that causes a pattern. I'm gonna tell you another one I had. Here I am, on this path of perfection and all the stuff I do. And I even had an area today. Now, I wasn't freaked out. I have all these spiritual tools to help me when things come up. And that's what Real Healing Method Spiritual Academy is about, is to give you the spiritual tools for you when you're around it, do something about it. So I was able to shift it. But I was with my two of my grand huskies, and they're a lot larger than me. And I have this little tiny dog that's she's a medium size, but she's like a Shih Tzu mix. She can't hurt a fly hardly. So um, and so the Huskies, and I was going to take them. I'm in the mountains. I was going to take a trail that was way up, and then I was going to go to this most beautiful wooded area. But I had the creeps. Like I was afraid to do it by myself with the dogs. Now, number one, was that a premonition? Was that a real fear that was telling me, don't do it? Or was it a fear? I felt it was a fear. So one way or the other, I didn't do it. But I don't, I have no problem with walking with my little dog up there, and I'm going to do it. I cleared the energy within me. And so maybe I could take one of the Huskies with me and do it. Um, so if somebody was up there, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I experienced. And sometimes what we experience doesn't make sense and doesn't sound logical. And it sounds kind of crazy and bizarre, but that's what fear does. And it was caused by a pattern and an imprint and being a victim. And that boils down to not enough. So we all have these core issues. So even, we get the tools to how to clear it. Okay, now let's go back to the soul lineage. I started telling you about that we take on the collective consciousness, right? Of beliefs and imprints and patterns, just like our own things. I mean, so here we are contributed from our ancestors from the beginning of us, right? And it goes way, way, way back. And we know if you're a woman and you're listening to this and you've studied history, it has just been probably in the last, I mean, how many years? I want to say 100 years, and it's not. My mother was born in the 20s and grew up. I mean, she was married in the 40s and 50s, but women didn't really work outside of the home, did they? My grandmother didn't. So think about these are imprints and patterns. Think about stories that you have heard from a parent, from a grandparent, from a cousin, from a friend's family of stories. Yale's Aunt Jessie, she was so bizarre. She acted, she got a finger cut off, something like that. It could be anything, but that's all we say. We don't talk about, Aunt Jessie went kind of crazy. We may say that, but we don't say about all the beautiful things about her. And we may say she had trauma and that's what caused her to be this way. But seriously, we don't know. That's all we're talking about. We're talking about the stories. We're talking about the victimization. Sometimes we have a memory of talking about people that are really good and we really love, and they are dear to us. Now, that's how I felt about my grandmother. But my mother, that's her parents, she really wasn't crazy about her parents. But I loved my grandparents. You see, so I think you got the gist. So those are the soul lineage. And then it goes back and clear these processes I'm going to talk about that you can go to shieldsforlife.com and learn about them and understand the importance of them. Now we're going to continue with the shields because the shields are huge. As you know, I've been on my path for a long time, my spiritual development. I have I have felt thrown under the bus. I have been off to the sidelines. And a lot of these things were my issues, right? I reacted. I didn't stand strong in my empowerment. I'd be up and down. I'd get out there. I'd do a podcast in 2012. Then a couple years, I would do something else. I would teach a workshop. Then something would happen to me. Then I found myself mm, like hibernating, right? Finding excuses not to do my work. Okay, makes sense. I started a group and then something happened. So it wasn't that I was lazy. It's just that I didn't have the shields, the correct shields to help me. Now let's look at your life. You may not relate to what I'm talking about of the spirit world. If you're an empath, you're sensitive, if you're religious, you're breaking away from religion. Think about how much you were told that God was an angry God and there is sin and we should feel guilt and shame. Come on, that's what we were learning. That's what I was taught in school. I mean, in church, in Sunday school, from the Old Testament, and that's not true. That was not speaking from the truth of God. And so what's happened over time, people get angry with God. Maybe you can relate to that. Why, when I ask God for help, why do I not feel my prayers are answered? That's a whole other conversation show. We'll go in and I'll explain all that. And so, but right now, we're talking about the shields and processes and how it affects our life, right? So, I'm going to go over some of the shields for you to understand. I really recommend that you get these shields and processes. I will tell you, I'm a founder of Real Healing Methods tools, spiritual tools. And I also am a certified practitioner for SVH, which is Serenity Vibrational Healing for as a practitioner for sessions. I can do all that. Well, one thing I can do is I can share the shields and the processes. If they're not all exclusive, I can share them. So I came up with a way to share them because if this was one of the most valuable things, and I know in my heart, and I know in my psychic that I was on the sidelines, especially the last on and off for 6 years, not the whole time, because I was waiting. I was waiting for this. And even though it was brought to my attention before I received them, I still was walking my own path of my own healing modality and was doing it my way. So, I'm just saying that this is really, really important. Now, what makes it unique? They came straight from God. There is nothing else on the planet like it. And you can't even prove me wrong. I already know it. There is nothing like it. It comes straight from the creator. And SVH is a prayer. It's like a prayer. And it connects you to your desires and straight to the creator. So I become a conduit. I become so holding the line for you and the energy for you to receive everything you want. Now, I do that already in Real Healing Methods. I am the conduit for you to connect straight with God, the angels, your spirit guides, all that. With SVH, and just so you know, Archangel Michael is the guardian of Real Healing Methods, and Archangel Michael, along with Archangel Metatron and Sananda, who you may or may not know, is all, part of the part of SVH, and they're the guardians. Okay. So with this, so there's nothing else like it. And the other thing is how many times I have been using shields forever. All even when I was hooked, implanted, cursed, all this thrown under the bus, all these things happen for energy trying to stop me and interfere. Okay. That I had shields. I was asking for protection, but I didn't feel it. And it was still invading my space. So, wouldn't it be nice to know that there's something out there that is so positive, that is really intended to do this? And most of the shields will roll back to when you were born, when you were in your mother's womb. They'll go back that far. And that means anything happened to you will all go. And they're going to be with you for life. And the only way it could change is if you welcome a different reality. And I will give you one example of I heard of a couple people wanting their shields removed. And this was because they were working with someone, a healer, reader, whatever, a healer, and said, "You've got shields. And if you want me to work on you, you're going to have to remove them." Now, stop and think. Do you really want to work with somebody who wants you to take down your protection? No, because now you have become vulnerable again. Now you have to start all over. Why would you want to do that? So if it were me and someone said, well, I know you got shields because they can feel it. They can feel that they're not going to be able to penetrate. Ask yourself, is this something that is going to be for my highest and best good? And I'm going to tell you from my personal experience, no, it's not. It honestly isn't. However, you got free will, and God is always going to give you free choice, free will. So do what you want. Okay. I'm going to go over these with you. I know we've had my foundation, I've talked for the last 30 minutes, and I want to be mindful of how long you're going to want to be on this. I hope you stay. Yes, you can go right now to Shields for Life and get your shields one time and you're done. Now, if you decide to do that, there's going to be some shields with a heart side, a red heart. And those can be repeated more than once. So you can go to the website anytime you want. And when you sign up, I will be sending you emails to keep you posted when I do the body shields. And when I go to level 2 and level 3, and I'm now all the way up to level 4, if there are some shields that and some processes I can share with you. There's more to get. So here you go. You have something that is so beautiful and wonderful. So beautiful and wonderful. Okay. Bear with me because I'm going to quickly go down the list to have you understand the importance of all of this. We are going to go to, I'm looking at the processes right now. Um, there's there's 20 shields right now, and you can get them all for one little price. And then there's also 18 soul processes. And it's so easy. It even explains to you how it'll work with you, and you'll be able to very quickly to receive it. Okay, here we go. Receive it. And you'll know the minute you click on to buy, you're going to be asked to look at a screen, and you're going to be asked when it's in your highest alignment with the creator. This is all between you and God. You say yes. And in that moment, it's done. It's done. Okay, here we go. What are the shields? We already talked about what the shields are. Here we go. Adversary shield. That is the number one reason, is to keep the adversary energy away from your energy field, from your everything we've been talking about. Courting shield, if someone tries to court to you. Device shield. See, I've had these things, so this is like beautiful, wonderful. Intentional harm shield and ritual shield. Okay, the next one, and those would be remove agreements that could harm, reverses potential energy from attaching, reverses any adversary devices, and repels harmful vibrations, and removes negative influence. So if any is in your life or anything you're reading, and it has a negative influence, remember, we live in a world, a planet that is duality. God is the light. Duality, people say it is ego, but it's a very low vibrational energy that I'm describing right now. Okay, the next one. Astral travel, electromagnetic fields, bays in radiant love, exposure to unwanted energies, imbalances, and blocks wandering spirits. Yes, spirits can wander. Okay, so there's 5 of those. The next group is releases authority figures to restrict your growth. Now, we all know many authority figures throughout history and through our lives. Remember, we have not, even though we have democracy, there are many of corporations, jobs, without going into it, a lot of different things that head up and run our country or our community or whatever. And so, yeah, we understand that. Okay. And so this is any infiltration to your light cord. It's gonna clear any foundational predispositions. It releases any associations with ancestral codes and productive sphere around any vehicle you designate. So this is to help the car. Okay, so you want the vehicle sphere to help. Now you still have to put a bubble around, a protection around your car. I will tell you that. But let's say you've got a car parked somewhere, you want to keep it safe, and that one can be repeated. Okay, the next one is attempts to monitor or access information. What are we hearing about all the stuff out there online? Releases attempt to relinquish any part of your soul, blocks all wandering spirits, removes any agreement that could suppress you, prevent any negative thoughts. Take a deep breath if this is new to you. I'm not trying to alarm you. I'm just saying these shields will just keep you protected, whatever you're doing. Okay, so here we go. We have all of these shields, but there's five more. Now here, then it's going to list and give you more information. Next, next group releases authority figures to restrict your growth. Infiltration. Okay, I already said that. Sorry, duh. That's what I was talking about. Okay. Attempts to monitor or access information, releases attempts to relinquish any part of your soul, blocks all wandering spirits, removes any agreement that could separate you. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, prevents any negative thoughts. Okay. So I already told you, go read it. It'll tell you how to receive it. Next, we're going to go through the soul lineage. I had a session with a client who received a shield because you can also book a session with me. And besides getting your shields and your processes, we'll do an energy clearing healing also. But it was during the soul lineage processes, and she went back in history and she knew that there had been some dark stuff. And there are other people that I talked to that had things happen to them back part of the treaties of Native Americans of, what did we do to the land? And also for anyone that was taking the land away from them, the ones that the army, the navy, whatever the, the service um was was hiring people to come in and measure the land and start giving stuff away. Well, some of them got cursed, let me tell you. So, and I know that to be true because I did some energy clearings and I knew that those families had things that was always happening to them. Some pretty serious things. So that's why look at your family history. So, okay, here we go. The client that wanted to clear, and she said that when she received the process as a lineage soul clearing that I'm going to go over right now with you, she felt something up here in her crown, and it was deep and it came out. Now, she is a fabulous, wonderful healer. She has she's had many people. She's been in a mystery school. She's had so many people, not so many, but she is like a master of what she does. And people have worked on her, but nobody saw that. So God saw it in the energy field. Because remember, we are our lineage, right? So it got removed. And God works wonders, let me tell you. Okay, here we go. I'm just looking through the list, trying to break it down. Okay. Group one ends arrangements that may limit or control, infuses your aura and sacred rays, divine light blocks, and block any galactic violations. So that's going to include curses, control compartment, contracts, covenant, harm cords. I've heard people say that they've had past lives, whether you believe it or not. It's not my reality, but some people feel like, they've received stuff. I look at it more as an ancestral thing. Okay, number two, releases promises, your path remains free, cleanses and purifies, reinforce your sovereignty, and dissolves the roots of obligation. This is unauthorized interaction, hostility, death's door, identity, confusion. Next group three, activating support, examining all physical energy bodies, elixir of light, infused in sacred rays, and implements intervention. This helps with trauma, toxic emotions, physical violation. Next, restricts any moments of pessimism, eradicates all agreements, detrimental purposes during your sleep, capsule of sacred light, dissolves all karmic ties while your soul within your soul lineage. Powerful. Goes over each of those. One is called the sleep angel, the wedge seal. And just so you know, I'm serious. I have all this written out. I'm reading right now. And I just start talking and then I go back and like the place. Um, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but you're getting what I'm saying. Okay, here we go. What are So what's happened is this has been recopied several times. And so it's more than once. And that is what's happening. So it's just part of the copy. And I didn't have time before I started to go through it. So go to the website, it'll shorten it. Okay, this you really want to know. If you've heard of chakras, the shields and the processes will cleanse your chakras, balance them, making sure they're moving in the right direction, just like the masters, all the master teachers, okay? And you never have to do anything again. You don't have to clean them again. I can't tell me how many times I've cleaned my own chakras as a healer and for myself, and other people have. No, no. God is in charge. Let go and give it to God, our creator. Okay, God is in you, as we've already talked about. Let God take over. Let it all happen, and you will be so grateful and so happy. And that group four of the processes is it. I believe I've shared everything. If you have any questions, reach out to me. So, last thing I want to stress again is to remember if you have an opportunity, and I recommend it, to get your shields. This is the one thing I have done that was given to me in 2023, probably. I don't think it was 22. I think it was 23. That my life, when I understood the power of all this, and then I started studying the SVH, became a practitioner to help people, I then begin to understand the power also. So with that, thank you. God bless you. Please comment below if you have any questions. You want anything, feel free to email me at support@judyjewett.com. Thank you. I bless you. I appreciate you. You are wonderful. And by doing that, there is a trigger that I've been able to do. You have to receive it specifically. This is not, you're not receiving it because we don't have time. It's time to go. But it enables me to share this. And every time I say you are wonderful, you're getting this infusion of love that is pouring on you for hours and is coming from God. Bless you. shieldsforlife.com